Summer 1501. Two women, both named Catalina, leave Spain. They're heading for England. One of them is Princess Catalina. In a few years' time, she will marry King Henry VIII and become queen. Today, we know her as Katherine of Aragon, and many people remember her name. The other is Catalina of Motril. She travels with the soon-to-be queen and will be by her side through some of the most difficult events imaginable. But she is an enslaved woman, and today, hardly anyone remembers her name. These two women's lives are closely connected, but this is Catalina of Motril's story. Catalina was from Motril, an area in southern modern-day Spain. Since the 1200s, Motril had been controlled by a group of people known as Moors. The Moors were Muslim and from North Africa. In 1492, Motril was taken by the Christian forces of the powerful Queen Isabella of Castile and King Ferdinand of Aragon. Many Muslim people were forced to flee, and those that didn't or couldn't were enslaved. At the time when people were enslaved, they were often forced to convert to Christianity, and sometimes they were renamed after their new masters. Catalina of Motril was probably enslaved at this time. She might have been renamed after her new royal mistress, Princess Catalina. Princess Catalina was sent to marry an English prince, Arthur. She travelled to England with many people as part of her household. Catalina of Motril was one of her maids. Her duties included making the bed and attending to the princess's personal needs. These arrivals from Spain would have to adjust to a new way of life. Different language, customs, and weather. They might have felt like outsiders in this strange Tudor court, where there were strict rules and everyone was obsessed with status. Princess Catalina would also have to get used to a new way of pronouncing her name. The English preferred Katherine to Catalina, and she became known as Katherine of Aragon. And it's not clear whether Catalina of Motril was still regarded as enslaved. Slavery was not a recognised status in 16th century England, but there are no records to show if she was paid or even free to leave, so we might never know. Catalina of Motril would have helped Katherine of Aragon prepare for her wedding. She was also by her side when he died unexpectedly the following year. Katherine of Aragon's position was now uncertain. She and her household would spend the next few years worrying about their future. But it was eventually decided that Katherine of Aragon would marry Arthur's little brother. He would become King Henry VIII, and she would be his queen. Catalina of Motril would have helped Katherine of Aragon prepare for her coronation, but her duties were to run even deeper. Over the next few years, the queen would experience several heartbreaking losses. She would give birth 6 times, but tragically, only one of her babies, Mary, survived. Catalina and the other members of the Queen's household would have provided much needed support during this difficult time. But eventually, their lives took very different paths. Despite these sad events, Henry VIII dismissed Katherine of Aragon. He wanted to remarry. She was banished from court and banned from seeing her daughter Mary ever again. She was heartbroken, and she died a few years later in England. But Catalina of Motril did not stay. We don't know when, but at some point she returned to Spain. She met a man, Oviedo, a crossbow maker. They got married and had 2 daughters in Malaga. When her husband died, Catalina and her daughters moved again. They went to live in Motril. She had finally made it back home. In 1531, a group of Spanish officials went to look for Catalina. They wanted her to reveal secrets that only she would know about Katherine of Aragon and Arthur's marriage. But there is no record of what happened next. Maybe they couldn't find her. Maybe she refused to speak. Or maybe her statement was destroyed. The ending of Catalina of Motril's story was lost to time. The reality is, we probably only know anything about Catalina of Motril's life because she is linked to royalty. Her story also gives us an important lesson. For every queen or king or politician we learn about, we can also choose to remember the countless others around them who have been almost lost to history.